Welcome into another vid. I'm going to go into some detail what my current training routine looks like. Basically, I can only train arms and legs due to some injuries and limitations. I can only do overhead tricep extensions, and for biceps I can do a few different exercises, but I kind of typically still just do standing dumbbell curls, hammer curls. And then for legs, the only exercise I'm able to do is jumping lunges. And this is what my physique looks like. My split is arms, legs, arms, cardio, repeat. I go to the gym every day. The cardio day is like a 30-minute session. For arms, the first arms day, I do 10 sets of tries, 10 sets of bis, supersetted, resting 5 minutes in between each set of each individual muscle group. Training all the way to failure, trying to use relatively heavy weight in the 10 to 15 rep range, focus on progressive overload. And then day 2, legs. Right now I'm doing 16 sets of jumping lunges, holding the dumbbells. So you're stationary. It looks kind of funny and silly, but whatever. We in here making gains. And I rest 2 minutes in between each set. And I've just been slowly scaling up the weight. Initially, I would say about 6-7 months ago, I started doing these lunges for my legs, and I started with 6 sets with body weight, and then I every couple of weeks added 2 sets. So then I'm doing 8 sets, 10, 12, until I got up to 16 sets, 16 sets of body weight jumping lunges, and then I started adding weight. So I started holding on to the 10-pound dumbbells, the 12.5s, 15s, every couple of weeks adding until now I'm up to the 30s. So scaling up the volume and also scaling up the weight. Two kind of basic forms of progressive overload has led to some solid growth in the legs. And then the other arm day is a volume arm day where I'm doing 30 sets of triceps, 30 sets of biceps, very short rest times, not going all the way to failure. Rep range is going to vary throughout the workout, anywhere from 8 to 20 reps. Absolute murderous session. If you're thinking, oh, that's 60 sets total, who's got time for that? When you only rest 30 seconds in between, it's still only going to take you 45, max an hour to do. So that's not an excuse. Could be in a bitch. Go do it if you can. Work your way up to that. I would say also when you're looking at somebody's training routine, whether it's mine or someone else's, something to take into consideration is that if that person has been working out for a long period of time and has built up some muscle and strength, that it took them time to scale up that workout program. So you don't necessarily just want to jump onto somebody's program right from the beginning if you're a beginner, because you can do something much more simple, just 4 or 5 working sets, hit each muscle group once a week, and then do that for a couple months and then start to scale it up, add some sets, add some weight, mix up the split, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's a little disclaimer that if you're thinking, oh, I want big arms, I'm going to do exactly what Matt's doing. It depends where you're at. If you've been working out for a couple years already and you're stuck on a plateau, some of my current methods will probably benefit you. Oh, it's not optimal. It's not scientifically proven to do that amount of volume. All right, you can stay there and keep just only focusing on what's optimal and stay in your plateau if you want. Or you can experiment with some wacky ass shit that might lead to some gains because you got nothing to lose. You're stuck at a plateau anyways. Anyway, that's the routine. If you're wondering why I broke my ankle when I was 16, it healed incorrectly. At the time, I knew that my ankle was fucked, but I didn't realize the effect that would have on the rest of my body. And if you have a joint that doesn't move properly due to injury or whatever, you've lost mobility or you've lost strength in that joint, the surrounding muscles and joints are going to compensate, and it's going to lead to muscle imbalances elsewhere in your body, particularly if there's something wrong with your ankles or your feet, because that's what's grounding you onto the earth. It's going to affect the way that you walk, run, move, and can lead to hip imbalances. If your hips are out of alignment, it can cause spinal imbalances, or your spine could be pulled or twisted a little bit, and all the way up into your neck, shoulders. My left collarbone sits like an inch higher than the right one because my right hip is out of alignment. It's all this fucking... It's actually really fascinating how the body adapts and responds to dysfunction in a certain joint by making compromises elsewhere. Anyways, that led to the point where I was getting numbness over many years of still training and just not being aware. I got numbness up the left side of my face and went to a doctor, and he said, you must have a brain tumor. And maybe that's why I'm so fucking crazy. That was not fun, but eventually over time started to figure out, it is due to these muscle imbalances permeating from the ankle, leading into the hips, into the back, into the shoulders, and pulling that left shoulder blade down and closer to my spine than it should be. And anyways, over many years, I figured out management strategies of how to release the lat, the pec minor on the left side, the pec on the right side, and all this intricate steps and methods I have to do, spending an hour to an hour and a half doing stretching and mobility before every workout to get myself mobile enough to be able to train. And that may seem a little wacky to the average person, but when you find something that is your favorite thing to do in the world, and then due to a certain set of circumstances it gets taken away from you, what would you do to try to get that back into your life? And would you want it back in your life in a modified, less than perfect form? Maybe you would. That's how I looked at it. For the first couple of years, stopped working out. Neck's all fucked, body's imbalanced, can't train properly. Every time I go and try to hit any muscle group hard, it just exacerbates the muscle imbalances, makes everything worse. What am I going to do? Slowly over time, found ways to manage it, found strategies to release tension, change lifestyle habits, sit less, move more, be less stressed, release the tension in the hips, release the tension in the lats. I don't go into all the details, but over time figured out a way to manage it enough so that I can go in and train and make gains. And this is what my physique looks like now. Just hitting arms and legs and pushing myself harder than anybody else I see in the gym, given my limitations, staying dedicated with the mobility and the warm-up. What is your excuse? Whatever, I have worse genetics, I'm overweight, I didn't learn how to wear. Okay, you can improve on it by making small incremental steps and looking at where you're at, what your limitations are, what's holding you back, what's a simple thing that I can improve, And what it really comes down to, the core competency or the core attribute that you need is courage. Courage to face the negative emotions associated with what your limitations are. And it's hard to look yourself in the mirror. You have to have courage to do that. And it's hard to go into the gym and try these things. You have to have courage to do that. It's hard to... courage is the main thing. Do you have the courage to challenge yourself, to go outside your comfort zone, to overcome the negative emotions, everything that's associated with holding you back? Courage. So when you think about doing this, you think about what's limiting you, whatever your situation is, it takes courage to apply yourself and it's uncomfortable. That's what it really comes down to. So I would say take that with you, whatever your situation is, look at mine, and I would like to provide this as inspiration to people and say, hey, I'm limited, but I'm finding a way to train still, and this is what my physique looks like. It's not the fucking best in the world, but I'm pretty proud of it. I'm going to continue to work my ass off and push myself as hard as I can because it's what I love to do. And so if you are in whatever situation and you want to change it, but you feel like you have these certain things limiting you, my advice is to realize that you need the courage to overcome what's holding you back, and most of it's happening in your head. Physical limitations you have can be overcome with mental strength. And developing mental strength, I think, first starts with, again, courage. To take the first steps, challenge yourself, admit what your limitations are, admit what's holding you back. For me, okay, I am dysfunctional. I can't do this, I can't do that. I used to be able to train more effectively. Now I got to go into the gym, kind of a shell of my former self. That takes courage. Now I got to go and do this mobility and try, and that takes courage. Now I'm going to try this and it could fail, and it does. I'm going to try to do this mobilization exercise and this technique for my ankle and this to loosen up my shoulder. All those things failed. It takes courage. You got to subject yourself to the potential of even further and further failure to start to find success. So, yeah, I mean, that's just my take, but I think what held me back was a lack of courage. I think that's what holds most people back, because who knows what you could do if you just focus on what you can do and focus on improving it. That's what I'm doing, I can't train chest, back, or shoulders. I'm limited. I just do jumping lunges for legs. I just do overhead extensions for triceps. This is what it is, man. I'm going to max that shit out based on what I can do and do whatever is possible to improve the mobility and keep grinding at it. And just keep living my life and keep moving forward. And actually, at this point, it's benefited me so much to have this challenge to resist against. And I think this is the big thing that I used to miss and a lot of people miss. in your assessment of wanting to improve yourself or change your life or whatever you're trying to do is that you want to get from point A to point B. And you're thinking at point B, my life will be better, whether it's being rich, whether it's improving your body, whether it's having a better relationship, whatever it is, whatever desire you have. I'm here, I don't have that. Point B, I will have that, my life will be better. If all those things were just given to you, I guarantee your life temporarily, oh my God, now I got $1 billion. Oh my God, I got the perfect girlfriend. Oh my God, I'm living in this awesome destination. It'll all wear off because at the end of the day, what you're doing on a daily basis is what you're going to get more fulfillment out of. And having a challenge and a pursuit to resist against, fuck, man, I don't know. Like, everybody's different. Everybody's wired a little differently. So I'm not going to say universally this is just what everyone should do, but for me, if how I'm talking and how I'm thinking about things, if you're vibing with this, if you have a similar type of mentality, a similar type of energy, then my strong advice to you is that emphasize the pursuit of resisting against the adversity and the challenge. And that whatever is getting placed on you and holding you back, it feels like shit and it's not what you want, flip that and look at it as, what is this teaching me? What do I need to learn from this? How can I improve myself? Because the adversity that I've faced in this example I'm giving of physical limitations has made me into a way better person, a way stronger person, a way more competent person, developed way better character through going, this is a fucking challenge that just got, fuck you, Matt, and then I'm like, nah, bro, I'm resisting, I'm continuously pushing up against that fucking shit over and over again, and then you become a better, stronger, more improved person. And I think that's the core of, if you want to improve yourself, you have to just get really into the process of resisting against a challenge to make yourself better. And that will, if you're like, a lot of time, some people, myself included, just feel bored and unstimulated, and like life is like, what am I doing? If I just repeatedly, I'm showing up to this as, oh, this is just given to me, I'm just, as a first world privilege, okay, like I'm in Canada, like, you know, that's first world problems, but a lot of people have those problems, and problems are relative. And if you're in that same situation, then dedicating yourself to a life of trying to improve upon the adversity which has been placed upon you, I think, is the best approach to getting more fulfillment, stimulation, and feeling engaged and motivated on a daily basis, instead of just floating through feeling like your soul is slowly getting sucked out of your body. Turned into a bit of a ramble rant, but that's the way it goes most of the time. Anyways, that's my current split, my current routine, what the physique is looking like. And yeah, I hope that this video helped you to, you know, maybe take some inspiration or whatever. I know I'm rambling in fucking circles talking about shit. And a lot of times this type of content, at least in short form, whenever I've made like short form videos where I'm like trying to like hit on some of these like mental things that I think are important to focus on around working out, there's very little engagement. And in my mind, I'm like, this is way more important. The other stuff, like how to learn how to stretch your hip, like that's good information and that serves its purpose. Because if you are trying to mobilize your hips and you don't know how to do that, having that information is going to help you to do that thing. But on the bigger scale of like what's going to be like massively impactful, I think, or what's been the most impactful for me, is conversations like this. Because then you can use these tools of that mentality shift of looking at adversity as a tool to make yourself better. If you fully embody that, then you can apply that to all these individual situations. Oh, I don't have good hip mobility. Oh, okay, fuck it. I guess I just fucked. Or like, oh, that's fucking bullshit that this person can do the splits. Terrible attitude. If you take that attitude, if this is the adversity that I'm facing, limited hip mobility, now I need to take that to go and learn, to go apply, relearn, reapply, keep experimenting, keep driving, keep pushing, because it's a challenge placed upon me that I can resist against to make myself better and get fulfillment out of it. That having that attitude will allow you to better solve the problem than just let me show you a proper way to stretch your hips. Because if you still have a shitty attitude and you don't want to continue to resist against the challenge and continue to educate and continue to push further and further, then your chance of actually achieving better hip mobility is really low, even if you have all the proper knowledge. But that's just not a theme or a tone or idea that most people want to engage with, because it's probably really, I don't know why. anyways, that's why I'm making these longer videos, rambling along. I just bought a bunch of new equipment to start a podcast. I have no idea what the theme is going to be, how it's going to work, who I'm going to interview, but I've realized it's something I've been thinking about for a while, and you just need to fucking start. Same way that I just started making short form videos was eventually I just said, fuck this, I'm just going to start. And then one thing led to another, and it progressed, and it turned into something that I couldn't have pictured in the beginning. So I'm going to apply the same thing to a podcast. I'm just going to start, get all the equipment, get it set up, find somebody to start first episode with, and then improve from there. So subscribe, stay tuned, buy some fuck sleeves merch if you want to join the fucking resistance against those devilish little arm concealers. Have a great day.